Helo a chroeso I Noson Nadoligaidd Span I mewn. Hello and welcome to Span's Cosy Christmas Night In. Even though we can't see you, it's lovely to know that you are there, and thank you so much for joining us. Mae dan ni raglen eitha cyffroes heno ma o bopeth sydd wedi digwydd dros y flwyddyn diwethaf. Eitha lot a dweud y gwir. We've got a very exciting programme looking back at some of Span's wonderful activities over the last year, and I must say there's quite a lot in it. You would be surprised. I'm here now with the chair of the board of directors for SPAN, Catherine Davies Croeso, and I am Anna Sherratt. I am a digital distanced programmer for SpanArts, and I am also the volunteer manager. It's lovely to be here with you tonight. So to start things off, Cathy, would you be happy to tell us a little bit about what SpanArts is and what we are all about?
Well, SpanArts is, as far as I'm concerned, the premier community arts organisation in West Wales. We were set up approximately 30 years ago. It was first Taff and Cleddau Arts, and then it became SPAN about 20 years ago, I believe. It precedes my involvement. And it was set up initially to provide events for the people of Pembrokeshire. And then gradually we began to do more and more community arts work, involving local communities, combating isolation and loneliness, and tackling deprivation generally through the medium of the arts. So SPAN has historically, and pre-COVID certainly, always had a very varied programme which involves both project work with communities, running everything from singing workshops right through to arts and crafts workshops with people within the communities within Pembrokeshire, but also putting on big gigs, big events, including what is now our annual a cappella festival, which is the only a cappella festival in Wales, and which took place, in fact, in February of this year.
Wonderful stuff.
So we're very much based in the communities of Pembrokeshire and West Wales, and particularly Pembrokeshire. And we work out of the needs of those communities, and look to address them and to address social change through the arts. So our mission is art as social change.
Such an important mission, and one that's becoming more and more relevant with every year, I certainly find. So how is it being the chairperson of such an organisation? You must be a very busy lady.
Well, we're incredibly lucky that although we have an extremely small staff, perfectly, and they are incredibly committed and hardworking. You yourself, as you've already demonstrated, Anna, have two roles. And we've actually, at the moment, we have the smallest number of employees that we've ever had, with just 4 people, none of whom are full-time. And I'm astounded always by the amount of work that SPAN manages to do. I'm also very lucky we have an extremely dedicated band of trustees and of volunteers, a wider group of volunteers, because obviously all trustees are voluntary as well. Without our volunteers, both in terms of the trustee board, but also the wider volunteers who help organise events and generally represent SPAN throughout all of our activities, without them, we wouldn't be able to survive.
And we'll be meeting a few of the volunteers for a chat later. Very much looking forward to that. Just so you all have an idea of the programme for the evening, because I'm sure you're all raring to go. Myself and Cathy are all ready in our glitter and sparkles, glitz and glam. Yeah.
Absolutely.
working it, and we can't wait to bring you an exciting evening of theatre, dance, singing, art, and all sorts of things that have taken place throughout the year. We also have the raffle a little bit later, in about 45 minutes time, and I'm sure some of you are raring to hear who has won the prizes this evening. We have a couple of exciting prize collections. The first prize being a Celtic knotwork chopping board, a gardening book, a juice cube charger, which is highly useful, and a box of chocolates as well. And the second prize is a hot towel pamper kit, a lovely scarf shawl, and another power charging kit as well. All highly useful prizes, and we'll talk some more about them a little bit later. So first, what we'd like to do is start by telling a little story, because back in January, the world was a very different place. The lockdowns hadn't happened yet, and we certainly had no idea the scale of what was going to be happening this year. January, by all accounts, was an extraordinary month for SpanArts. We held lots and lots of events. There was an aquarium party. There was a production called Bipolar Me in collaboration with Popty Ping Productions at Theatre Gwaun. Lingo Theatre's Puss in Boots came to the Queen's Hall, and there was a Span Jazz event as well. And what was very interesting in that month was that everything had sold out, all of the events that took place. So it was almost as if the public knew something that we didn't, which was that this could be their last time to come together in a large group and enjoy live events. So here's hoping that they will be able to do that once again. There are many events appearing this evening, but also I should say that there are many that aren't appearing simply because we can't show you everything. And certainly what you're seeing tonight is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what SpanArts has managed to achieve. But the first video that we would like to show you this evening is about a project called Raise Your Voice. Now, you actually took part in the project, didn't you, Kathy?
I did indeed. Yes, yes. I was. It was the second day of our a cappella festival. Was a performance first of all by Cor Pawb, the massed choir that we've been bringing together over the last few years throughout Pembrokeshire and in fact into the wider area of West Wales, because we got people from all over coming to Cor Pawb. And then we moved into Raise Your Voice Pembrokeshire, which was an attempt to bring together as many people as we could, from 0 to 100.
And I think you succeeded.
And it was the most, we did indeed. It was the most heart-rending experience I think I've had in many years, particularly seeing the oldest person we had there cuddling the youngest person we had there. It was quite an emotional event. All brought together beautifully. Yeah, all brought together beautifully by Molara Owen and her fellow singers, singer leaders.
We have a little video now to show everybody a little bit about what Raise Your Voice was all about. A truly heartwarming experience involving people of ages 0 to 100. Incredible. So let's have a little look at that video now. Hope you enjoy.
Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind. It was said on freedom. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind. Said on freedom. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind. It was said on freedom. Well, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Night I keep my mind. It was set on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
I'm Nia. I've been working as the community leader on the Raise Your Voice Pembrokeshire project. SpanArts has a wealth of experience of working with singing in the community. The project came out of an aim to expand our existing community choir called PAUB, which means Everybody's Choir, and really make it truly intergenerational. So we were looking to try and bring together a choir of voices from 0 to 100 years old.
My name's Mollera. I'm a singer and songwriter. I've been singing for, well, longer than I care to remember, and I've been teaching singing for the last 20 to 30 years. I was really pleased to be involved in the Raise Your Voice Pembrokeshire project as the songwriter, to write an original piece of music. Singing for health and well-being has come much more into our everyday lives now. I've been banging on about it for years, but I do believe that everybody can sing. I do believe that in singing together there's something about letting your guard down emotionally and doing something which a lot of people find nerve-wracking individually, and if you can then span a generation or several generations and, for example, take young kids and school kids into care homes to sing with the elderly residents, it's really lovely because there's a light that comes into the residents' eyes when these small people turn up and start running around, and the energy is just different, and it's lovely to see that energy.
I really enjoy meeting new people that I wouldn't otherwise have met, and there's lots of really interesting people come to these sorts of things.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see it for myself, because 100 years is a lot, and I saw the picture of the 100-year-old and the 0-year-old. It was so cute. I nearly cried. Thinking 100 years, like a full century, it's like, whoa. And the fact that you can still sing at 0 and 100 is quite cool.
Mollera created an amazing song built up from the information that choir members gave us about what they felt singing was for them.
Underneath, energy, together we happily, community, therapy, uplifting us, sets us free. Sing, sing, sing now, sing, what people sing, sing, sing now, sing.
Personally, I sing because I love harmonies. I love hearing people sing in harmony, and it just physically makes me happy. It's a very embodied experience. I love connecting with people, singing across the circle at each other. I love making friends from people with people from different walks of life, older than me, younger than me.
There's something really special about that connection you get with all of the different generations together that you wouldn't really have in your everyday life. Brings everyone together. It's amazing.
It's just been a really, really nice event. Community, food and singing, perfect combination of really lovely things.
And I'll add, I don't usually sing, but I did today. I made up my numbers in the age group, and I really enjoyed it. I loved singing along. It was great. Thank you very much.
Let your arms be as warm as the sun from up above. Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me love. We'll meet on the shore. We'll kiss just as before.
A huge thank you to Mollera and Nia and all involved in the Raise Your Voice project. A fantastic piece of work. And of course, we're so grateful to all of our marvellous funders as well at SpanArts, who help to keep us going. To name but a few, the Arts Council of Wales, the National Lottery Fund, Pembrokeshire County Council, and Moon Dance, but there are many, many more, and we'll talk about those a little bit later as well. Now, I'm here live with Siobhan McGovern, who used to be the volunteer manager. In fact, she was my predecessor, and she's here to talk with me a little bit about SPAN's volunteers and what it's like to be a volunteer, what they do, and how meaningful the work that they do for our wonderful organisation is. Hello, Siobhan, lovely to have you here. And I love your headdress as well. That's fantastic.
I have tried to find something festive, and this is what I found.
You look truly festive, like a Christmas fairy. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you with us. So, Siobhan, can you tell me a little bit about what it is like to be a volunteer at SPAN?
Yes. Well, I think it's marvelous. Actually, it's basically being a volunteer at SPAN is basically joining the SPAN team, really, and you have this like ready-made group of like-minded people who they're all interested in the arts, and it could be theatre or music or whatever, but so you really just sort of join this wonderful team, and you end up getting involved in all sorts of things. So one weekend you might be watching outdoor Shakespeare, and then the next you might be helping out at sort of dub reggae or contemporary dance. So you end up seeing a lot of events you wouldn't necessarily normally see. So you do come away with this very rich sort of feeling of culture.
I can imagine, and it's very hectic, busy work as well. You can be going from coat check 1 minute to marketing the next, to taking part in a performance even. There's all sorts to it, or helping to de-rig a show. And we have a very eclectic group of volunteers as well, with loads of different talents, numbering in over 80 volunteers currently, which is fantastic, isn't it? So of course this year has been a little bit different for volunteers and for all of our audiences and participants, in fact. But how have the volunteers, I suppose, handled the past year, and what has SPAN had on offer for them?
Yes, so it has been very different, and I think what we felt as an organisation at the beginning of lockdown was that we really had we had a duty. We owed our volunteers, because they had done so much for SPAN over the years, and now it was kind of our time in a way to do something for them. And at the beginning of lockdown, everybody was quite unnerved, really. It was a very odd time. So we within the first week of lockdown, we put on weekly volunteer events, which I think was just so reassuring for all of us to see familiar faces, to have something regular, to have like basically a way of connecting in the only way we could, which was through Zoom. So we all became wonderfully familiar with Zoom very quickly, and that was just great.
And what kind of things happened at these events? Because they were skill shares at one point, weren't
there? So we started with Skillshare. So volunteers would do Tai Chi, or we had poetry, meditation, cooking, all sorts. And we actually put that out to invited all the volunteers, all the COVID people who'd signed up to volunteer as part of the COVID response. So we put that out to everybody who could come and take part in that as well. And then we had coffee mornings, which was just a nice place to just drop in and have a chat. And then, of course, all these volunteers also did the most amazing performances in Under Milkwood and Dracula, which I think you're going to show clips of later, so I won't go on about that. But basically the volunteers, as well as just providing a reassuring space for each other. They also provided entertainment for the public, which went out through YouTube. So we're very, very grateful for our volunteers this year, as well as previous years, and we do hope to get back to normality at some point.
Definitely. And the volunteers, of course, this year have been doing a really interesting range of things online as well. We've had some of them involved in marketing work, others have been helping to design calendars, others have been even coming in to do bits of gardening, really all sorts. And we've got one that's building a special display for posters for when we are able to perhaps start advertising more things in the building again. So it really is wonderful to see the volunteers taking part in so many different ways.
And actually, with what I don't know if people realize is that SPAN wouldn't exist without volunteers. It began by a voluntary organization and has gone on in leaps and bounds to become a very professional, very well thought of organization. But I mean, just putting on events, we wouldn't be able to do that without volunteers. It just simply couldn't happen.
Definitely.
So
And I'd like to give a shout out to one of our lovely volunteers that's watching at the moment. Hello, Lorraine. Lovely to know you're there.
Hi, Lorraine.
So we're going to have a little look at something a little bit different now, because we were talking about how I suppose SPAN and the volunteers adapted to working online at a distance quite early on in the pandemic. And we're going to segue slightly into a live gig, well, not all live, but a gig that took place online with the wonderful group the Baghdadis, who provided us with a very imaginative, very fun, very joyful online gig. And it was really just as we were starting to try some of these things out for the first time, building on the previous work that SPAN had done via projects like SpanArts. And it's been wonderful to see how artists and musicians as well have adapted over the last few months. So I hope that you enjoy the Baghdadis.
Lying on the floor, another kid trying to make his name. Normal day in Peckham, set up to lend, it's all been a game. But you won't get up, you won't laugh or run. Who would have thought your time might come like this? So many lives gone. Gotta love our people so they love themselves, so they love other people. Let it feel flow over. Now put you in the corner so you don't spill blood like treacle. Love, sweet love. Love, sweet love. So maybe I was running, maybe I had it coming, maybe that's a bit of lesson what you wanna make something. Taught your dream by the church wall. Some them charge, some them fall in the video games. Shoot 'em ups, scared crews, they're all tooled up. The zombie highs and the high rise, a politician. So many lives gone. Gotta love our people so they love themselves, so they love other people. Let the fear flow over. Now put you in the corner so it don't spill blood like treacle. Love, love, sweet love. Games, shoot 'em ups, scared crews, they're all tooled up, and the zombie highs in a high rise, a politician, and the newspaper, the profiteer, distracting with hate and fear, and the media that needs no proof in a country that rejects its youth. Gotta care for your people to get back here. Gotta care for your people to get back here. Gotta care for your people to get back here. But this boy's just another body to step over. Gotta love our people so they love themselves and they love other people. Let the fear flow over. Now put you in a corner so you don't spill blood like treacle. Love, sweet love. Love, sweet love. So many lives gone. Gotta love our people so they love themselves so they love other people. Let the fear flow over. Put you in a car so no spill blood like treacle. Love, sweet love. Love, sweet love. In the term of forensics, stop short suspended from a baby to your exit, like a life that never ended. In the temple of forensics, stop short suspended from a baby to your exit, like a life that never ended.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much to the Baghdadis there. Clip from their wonderful gig, which is still available on our YouTube channel if you want to catch the rest of it. And I highly recommend that you do. Nawr te, rhwng mis Mai ac Awst, oedd prosiect eitha cyffroes yn digwydd gyda Span. Between the months of May and August, a very exciting project happened with Span, o'r enw Theatr Sofa. Theatr Sofa was the name of the project, and it was all about producing live stream online theatre. Now, with me this evening, I have Hugh Rowlands, who took part in, who has taken part in a number of our Theatr Sofa projects, as it happens, is a little bit of a veteran when it comes to acting online. To tell us a little bit about what it's all about. So, Hugh, can you tell me about what brought you to take part in Theatr Sofa, I guess? How did it start for you?
I think well, first off, it came about from a Western Telegraph article. I think I saw that about a week after the rehearsals had started, and then I got in touch and I managed to get into the rehearsals like very last minute.
Oh, brilliant. A proper last minute sort of part, yeah, then.
I think
fantastic.
It was maybe the last day before rehearsals properly started. But I managed to get in there, and here I am now.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I guess what's were you sort of how was it because you were bored in lockdown and wanted to find something to do, or were you hoping to meet new people? What sort of drove
I think it
that?
was a case of all of the above, really. As I've always been interested in drama, and I've always been involved in drama in some way. And I think from March it became really difficult to find anything to be part of. So finding the article in the Western Telegraph was absolutely brilliant.
It's a little bit difficult to be in a play when you can't go into a theatre.
Yeah, that when all the theatres are closed, it's really difficult to be part of anything, to be involved with them. But I think working through Zoom has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and that's brilliant because that brings me on to my next question. How does Theatre Sofa work, and how is it to take part in this kind of project?
I have to admit, it's once you're used to it and you're used to the different elements of it, it becomes quite second nature. You start to get used to it as you do coming on from the wings in actual theatre, and you get used to the way of working. So when you come on, making sure you've got the video on and the mute on, and especially when you go off, making sure that the mute and the video are off as well. I think those were the hardest parts to get gripped with.
Did you find there were many mute disasters during the process? Because
I've been lucky so far, but I think most of my ones were during rehearsal, mostly forgetting to come on and talking to myself.
That's always a good one, isn't it? And then there's a little blank space. But I must say, it's remarkable. One of the best pieces of feedback that we've had about Theatre Sofa is a number of people saying they forgot that you weren't actually in the same room because they got so engrossed in the story. Do you find that when you're acting and taking part, even over a video conferencing call, do you find that sometimes you almost forget that you're not in the same room?
I think once you're into it and you're into the story and the play and everything's moving, it starts to feel completely real. It's as if you're going through the same motions as you would on stage. Everything is as real as it can possibly be at the time when you're speaking to your phone.
It must be a very interesting experience, sort of trying to have these really human connections, but with a screen, and something I think people struggle with. But what's been really interesting is seeing actors manage to get past that, I suppose, to get past those feelings of sort of, I'm talking to a screen and being able to interact with people on the other end. So tell me a little bit about Under Milk Wood and Danawennath then. How did you find those pieces, and how did they work well as pieces done remotely, do you think?
I think Under Milk Wood, as the piece it is extremely well suited to Zoom and the online performance space, I think, because as we know, it's the play for voices, and having the little what can we call them, headshots as the characters works extremely well in that sort of environment. And I think it actually lent itself better than I thought it would. It really suited it. And I think that comes from the framing of the brilliant tech. That comes from the framing of the story. I think it is overall very well suited.
And you had quite an over-the-top part to play, didn't you?
Yeah, Mr. Mogg Edwards.
Mr. Mogg Edwards, who is very much in love.
And that actually made a lot of sense over Zoom as well, being that he's sending letters to a woman that he never meets, but is drastically in love with her.
Yes, it
and
sort of
Nadoligaidd, it's not
lends itself, doesn't it? Well,
Yeah.
we have a couple of clips of both because there were two casts, of course, working on the two productions. We had a Welsh medium cast working on Dan Wenallt, which is a translated version of Dylan Thomas's Under Milk Wood, which was done with another cast. And we have some clips from both shows to share with you now. I wonder, Hugh, would you be so kind as to introduce them for us?
I'd love to. I'm not sure how, but here we go. You were about to see clips from Danny Wenallt and Under Milk Wood by SpanArts and Theatre Sofa.
Wyt ti'n anghofio I, Capten?
Williams, I don't siŵr.
Fe nes I gam gwag yn Nantucket.
Wyt ti'n anghofio I, Capten?
A tŵ môr forwyn mlaen â nhw, syched fel bistach, I ladd a photell.
Y benglog wrth dy glist yw...
Cwrlyn bifan, dwed wrth at Gina fi ddwgodd reglog air.
To begin at the beginning.
Move fun we price.
Mr. Mogg Edwards.
Plain moochins.
Send him to bed without any supper.
It is time to inhale your balsam.
The sun's spinning like a top. Oh, who's this coming out of the sun? It's a hairy little man.
Oh, little Willie Weasel was the man for me.
Praise the Lord. We are a musical nation.
Some persons were brought up in pigsties.
Pigs don't read at table, dear.
You cosy love, my easy as easy, my true sweetheart. Seas green as a bean, seas gliding with swans in the seal-barking moon.
Yes. That was awesome. That was officially in the history books as our first ever live online streaming gig. Big up to SpanArts. Parch enfawr I SpanArts, because this wouldn't be possible without SpanArts. So, parch mawr I SpanArts. Thanks for everyone for tuning in as well. Yeah, we're good. What are you saying, Matt?
Tune nesaf enw Ffynhonnell.
Ffynhonnell.
Yeah, man.
The sauce. We've got these goods going. If anyone wants to change any levels, if you hear anything quiet or anything too loud, put a comment on the video and hopefully SpanArts will tell us. Okay, so if anyone wants to change any levels, if something's too loud, please tell us, because
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're just going in as we can. So
Ffynhonnell. Shout out to Agent Orange. Kirsty.
Mais G.
Yeah, sure. Mais Gerchen.
Mais G. As we go in.
teithio, hanes cynghanedd o bywyd y geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd o bywyd y geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd.
Bardd yn rheoli y dorf, mi'n rheoli y chorff, mi'n rheoli y sain, sy'n rheoli y dorf, sylweddoli ar y greidiau sy'n difwyn, yn canol y deiar, mi fyw yn y rhyddwm, gwthio'r ffiniau, anturiaethau, efo'r sain a delweddau y ieithau, a pwy a wyrllen i gwanio yn y gwacdau, dim am hawster, beth i'r amser, dim ond diwrnod arall yn y swyddfa, beth yr amsos yn diwedd i swyddfa, ond mae pennau yn glir yn y noddfa, peidwch a dilyn y rhai sy'n neud gwyddau, ymunwch ar y taith drwy llenyddiaeth, gofiwch drowerin a greidiau o mamiaeth, a pwy dwi i llifo fel afonydd, a ffynhonnell, gorlifo dros lonydd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, a pwy di bardd i arloesi, ienu'n hennu'r iaith yn ysbrydoli, cyfuno ieithau, teithau, barddoni, croesi bontydd a dilyn efo cerddi, ysbrydion efo ened y gwaith pyr, alduro chwedlonol y dilyn y llyfr, ar y ffyrdd mewn i'r anadnabydus efo'r agwau Gymraeg o Gartrefol yn llwyddiannus, deffro ieithau, teithiau, deffro'r gwynhaniaeth newydd efo ieithau, dros y byd ni'n crwydro, ni'n cymni'r garn efo'r tar yn ffrwydro, crwydro a dyma cychwyn y taith, rhoddi'r chwiorydd o bob da fod i iaith, rhamwaith anhybrig i dal y symudiad, bardd efo neges glir ar bob ceiriad, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau cyfonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd. Hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, roi bywyd i'r geiriau, dreigiau ffynhonnell, bardd yn teithio, hanes cynghanedd, dathlu'r caneuon sy'n brydion y garnedd, Wow.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I bawb a oedd yn rhan o Gast Dan y Wenallt. A huge thank you to everybody that was a part of the casts of Dan y Wenallt and Under Milkwood. Our Under Milkwood clips were of course dedicated to the wonderful Stefan who played Captain Cat in the series. And it was wonderful to see clips of both shows once again. Dan y Wenallt, of course, went to the Eisteddfod Eisteddfod ar-lein, the online Eisteddfod Amgen this year, back in August, and those productions saw us through the summer a little way. Then the clip you just saw was a online live gig from Bardd, gig ar-lein gan y grŵp Bardd, ac a oedd yn hyfryd gweld nhw hefyd a cael nhw gyda ni. That gig was wonderful. It was lovely to have them with us, and it is still accessible online on our channel as well. So do feel free to check it out. Now then, throughout the period of lockdown since March, SPAN has been running bi-monthly online singing sessions. These used to be part of a group called Can Sing, and usually they would meet in person, but sadly, since we all had to stay indoors and since the regulations surrounding singing changed earlier in the year, they have had to get quite creative about how they are able to keep going. Singing, as we know, is so important for well-being, and is a really, really helpful thing for people to take part in, and has brought comfort to many people even during this year. So we were really glad that Catriona Fothergill, who runs the Can Sing group, was able to find a way to keep this going online. We have a little clip now from Can Sing online that we would like to share with you. Coming up in a little bit, I'll be talking about the Shared Worlds project as well, and we have the raffle coming up soon as well, of course, so do stay tuned. But first of all, here is Can Sing. Enjoy.
Boomalena, yeah, yeah, 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 Boomalena, yeah, yeah.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I Cat ac I bawb a oedd yn rhan o Can Sing. A huge thank you to Cat and everybody involved in Can Sing. Lovely to see you there. Now then, since September, SpanArts has been running a special project called Shared Worlds. This was part of the West Wales is Kind project. It was actually funded by West Wales is Kind and part of Pembrokeshire's campaign for kindness. And since September, there have been nearly 200 attendances at those workshops throughout the autumn. People were able to take part in various online workshops, including activities like puppetry, movement and dance and well-being, canu gwerin, canu yn y Gymraeg, Welsh folk singing, barddoniaeth, poetry, and also mindful photography. And each group was able to make and learn a new skill, as well as getting to know each other, taking part in something that might give them an escape or a release from what was going on in the world, and a way to keep warm over the winter months and enjoy doing something together online. We are very, very grateful to the artists that helped us to deliver the project and did such a wonderful job of leading the workshops. And it was a very joyful experience to see people of all ages, from children to people over 65, across the spectrum, enjoying various range of arts activities and making the most of the arts from home as well. We have a short clip to show you now from one of the projects, which was led by Richard Chappell. It was a dance and movement for well-being piece, and one of our lovely participants, Geraldine, put this piece together, and we're looking forward next year to sharing a longer film about shared worlds and what the work meant and what people got out of it as well. And we're looking forward to sharing aspects from all 5 of the different strands of creative work. But here now is a video of Geraldine made during the Shared Worlds project. Enjoy.
Mind your step. A bumpy road. A rocky atmosphere. Tread carefully. Be mindful. Meet that challenge. Go onwards. Go forwards. But look back at what was. Tread carefully. Unclean. Wash your hands. Must keep my hands clean. Happy birthday to you. 20 seconds. Pemblwydd hapus. Pemblwydd hapus. Feeling enclosed. Enclosed feelings. Trapped. Limited. Frustrated. Confusion and concern, hopeful and grateful, sometimes all of these at once. Look forwards, reach into the open space and breathe. Reach out into the open space, reach out to loved ones. Communicate, a hug. I'd love to have a hug.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I Geraldine. Thanks very much to Geraldine, all of the artists and participants in Shared Worlds. It was wonderful to see a little snippet of your work, a little teaser, a little Christmas teaser for next year. Very exciting stuff, and we're looking forward to the film that will be coming out next year. Now then, SpanArts would not be able to make so many wonderful things in so many different ways without our amazing funders, and I'd like to just mention a few of the funders that support us through various different projects and really help us to keep the arts alive in Pembrokeshire. They of course include the Arts Council of Wales, Pembrokeshire County Council, the National Lottery and Moon Dance as well, and these are just a few of the amazing funders. West Wales is Kind, of course, was involved in the Shared Worlds project, and this is really just the tip of the iceberg of the support that SPAN so heavily relies on in order to keep the arts alive. We also, of course, rely on you, our wonderful audiences and participants, and the donations that you are able to make to the organisation, and we are so grateful to those of you who have managed to donate during the year. If you are able to make a donation to SpanArts, please do head over to our website, and there is a page there where you'll be able to donate. It really is appreciated. Now, I'm here with the wonderful Penny, who is one of our volunteers, and Penny has taken part in an array of different activities. You might have spotted her in Theatre Sofa a little bit earlier, and she is appearing in some of the video clips later as well, in very different looking makeup. But Penny not only acts, but has also taken part in some of our, making some of our marketing. She's even modelled for photo shoots, and also helped to design the wonderful Span calendars. So Penny, oh, and she's modelling one there. See, two jobs in one there, 2 roles in one. And I must say, I love your Christmas jumper as well, Penny. It looks fantastic. So Penny, can you tell me a little bit about I suppose how did you choose the pictures to go on the calendar this year, and how was designing the calendar for you?
Well, there were a group of us and we wanted the calendar to represent the span of what SpanArts does. When we started looking at the photos, we realised how much Span does. I mean, you know, it's phenomenal. I know, working with volunteers, there's workshops, there's like performance, comedy, music, theatre, dance, working with older people, younger people, the whole span. You know, hence the name Span, I suppose. And Di, who does the digital marketing and lots of other things at Span, had a wealth of photographs we could look at, and so it was really difficult deciding which ones to use. But I think between us all, we made some really good choices. And it's a lovely calendar. It's such good quality. I was amazed when it came back. It's really good quality. And there's a space for everybody to write birthdays, appointments, events at SpanArts. It's such a good calendar. And it's only £6. And that
Only
includes
£6?
postage. Yes,
wow.
And that includes postage and packaging. And to be honest, we need to sell them all because I need my dining room back.
Oh dear, is your dining room full of calendars, Penny?
My dining room, it's gone down considerably, but I still need my dining room back, please. So as many people who can buy calendars, makes a wonderful Christmas present. You know, those difficult people, yes.
So there you go. You have it there straight from Penny. If she wants to see her kitchen again this year, then we do need to shift a few of these calendars. I must say, I'm very much looking forward to using mine. I'm almost sad that it's not 2021 already, so that I can start looking at the lovely pictures. And I think you're right. They really do show a little snippet of what SpanArts is all about, and it's really lovely to see. Ma nhw yn Gymraeg hefyd. They are in Welsh and in English as well. So ma nhw'n berffaith ar gyfer y cartref. They're lovely calendars at home. So Penny, where can we pick up one of these lovely calendars?
Well, you can go onto the SpanArts website and buy them there, and then I'll post them to you. Or you can actually go into the Boar's Head in Tafnesbyd, or you can go to Orylcew Gallery, or you can go to Narberth Museum. Go now while they're open, and they have our calendars there.
Brilliant. Oh, well, there you go. So those are all the places where you can pick up a lovely calendar, and they will be posted to you by our very own Penny, and it will allow her to see her dining room once again. So please do pick one up from the SpanArts website or via one of the other ways that Penny mentioned there. Now then, Penny, we've come to a very exciting part of the evening. It's the part you've all been waiting for. It is time for our Christmas raffle. So let's have a quick look at what the prizes are this evening again. We've got some very nice prizes this evening. The first prize includes a handcrafted Celtic knotwood chopping board, which was donated by Leslie Lanman, who is one of our volunteers. We also have a lovely juice cube charger from Southhook LNG, which is going to be really handy for your gadgets. There's a nice gardening book as well, and a box of chocks, and that is our first prize. And our second prize includes a hot towel cleansing kit, lovely pampering there, a lovely scarf shawl for the winter, perfect, and also another charging kit as well, which was donated by Southhook LNG. Very, very grateful to everybody who donated our raffle prizes, and of course to you for taking part in the raffle. So shall we see who has won the raffle today? Let's find out. Spin the wheel, please, if you will. And who is our winner? Penny, would you believe it?
I'll donate it back. Do it again. I'll donate it back.
Are you sure, Penny?
Yeah.
That was serendipity, wasn't it?
Presents, they're fabulous, but as I'm here, donate it back.
All right. Well, thank you, Penny, for kindly donating it. So you all have, you're very lucky because you have another shot at the first prize. Well, let's see. Let's see who gets it then. Kelvin Lewis, fantastic. Congratulations, Kelvin. So you have a lovely gardening book, a chopping board, a box of chocks and a charger kit on its way to you. Congratulations, and we'll be in touch with you at the end of the evening to make sure those get sent over to you. Congratulations. Now then, for the second prize, our hot towel kits, scarf, shawl and charger. Let's see who's won this one. Dun, 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 dun. It's very exciting. Vic Dennis, you are our second prize winner. Wonderful stuff. Congratulations. So again, we'll be in touch with you at the end of the evening to let you know. Congratulations to all our winners, and thank you, Penny, for so kindly donating that first prize back into the pot. That was really serendipity, wasn't it? Funny how these things fall out. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Curtis, our wonderful technician, as well, for putting together our very nice Christmas themed raffle spinner there, looking very festive indeed. Now, in the month of October this year, we had a number of various activities taking place as part of Black History Month, and also as part of wider projects surrounding Black History 365. This has never been more important, and it really this year more than ever has caused people, I think, to re-explore and redefine their relationships with the subject. We were very lucky to be working with some wonderful creatives, including Mollera, who is on with me now. We're just going to watch a little video, Mollera, and then I'll be chatting with you a little bit more in a bit. Very excited to have you here because there have been some amazing projects taking place. We were very lucky to be working as well with Eric and Gale Charles, who very kindly let us screen his film, This Is Not a Poem, a film poem which was made and filmed with Greg Lewis as well. And he also came online live and did a little Q&A. So we're going to share a little clip of that now, and then I will be having a chat with Mollera about all of the exciting projects. Thank you very much and enjoy This Is Not a Poem.
But I am nomad, everywhere but Wales. In Wales, I say, Diolch yn fawr iawn, Neki, Tengi Rai Rai. I now have a double longing for the home where I was born and the one in which I live. He rieth, a rolly, a longing like that one feels after death for a loved one. Still, sometimes, I plead with passing birds to carry me to you.
It's quite a tough question. What does home mean to you, and what does it mean to call a place your home?
Home, like the idea of Hiraeth. It's a song that I play on and on and on in my head so that I do not forget. See, home is my mother's kitchen. Home is small Sopombwa Porali. Home is the first sight that I saw growing up. So when I opened my mother's window, the first thing I saw is the giant, which is Mount Cameroon. And I create a familiarity with places. So a couple of years, I was kind of lost in Russia. I found myself mysteriously in Wales. And for the first few months, I was lost until I was traveling between Llandudno and Swansea, and the sights of sheep grazing, conversations of common things, it kind of reminded me of home. And that was the first time that I did that affiliation with Wales 20 years ago. And so, yeah, wherever I find myself, I become that place. I become it. Yeah. So, but to be honest with you now, I am permanently lost in my head because I kind of fly between my mother's kitchen and my kitchen in Lekki.
But I place my shadow gently into a cupboard.
A huge thank you to Eric and Gale Charles for sharing his work and his thoughts on This Is Not a Poem with us back in October. Now I'm with the fantastic Molara, who has not only volunteered for SPAN in the past, but is also one of the artists that we work with on a regular basis. Molara is responsible for an array of projects from singing and songwriting right through to the visual arts and even making theatre and exhibitions. You do a little bit of everything, Molara. And she was also leading lots of exciting projects surrounding Black History and Black History 365 as well. She's been doing that throughout the year. Molara, can you tell me just a little bit about the work that you do and where it takes you as an artist?
Wow.
A big question.
As you say, lots of different strands. Well, obviously being a Black person, being raised in the UK, you don't want to kind of bang on about it, but it's not the easiest of journeys. And particularly if you live in an area like Pembrokeshire, where there aren't many Black people, it does become challenging at times. And raising children, you go to the school regularly and say, why don't we do Black History Month? And there is never Black History Month. There was never Black History Month in Welsh schools. So I've petitioned for that for a very long time. Alongside that, I do all of my singing and different projects, my different community arts projects, which I love and I enjoy. But one day I was standing in the foyer of the Queen's Hall with the wonderful Kanchana Edwards, who does Kanchi's Kitchen. And we were talking about, I was sort of talking about Black History Month. This is going back sort of 18 months. And I said to her, you know, blah, 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 it'd be nice to do something for Black History Month. It'd be nice to do something in October, celebrating our connections with Africa. And she said to me, oh, yeah. She said, well, I was in Uganda for 6 months. And so everywhere I kind of go in Pembrokeshire, there are people who approach me and say, oh, do you know what? Well, I went to Tanzania when I was 18 and I went to... So people have got all of these stories, and particularly the fabulous Gus and Julia Phillips of Narberth, who met on a boat on the way to South Africa. So I was aware of this kind of rich tapestry of stories that connected local people to the continent of Africa. And for me, as somebody who is half African, who has been raised in a country which colonized various different countries, helped themselves to all of the goodies. In fact, me and Eric and Phil have doing the Connections to Africa thing said, you know, just it's fine, just give us back our diamonds. We just want back the diamonds and the gold and the rubber, and you know. So we've been having all of these conversations, and then in the context of everything that happened with the Black Lives Matter movement and the final realization that the treatment of Black people, Black culture was not the same in the UK. So it's been a very eventful year for us as members of the Black community. And subsequently, I've just completed a survey for Race Council Cymru because the Welsh Government want to get together a race equality action plan. They've worked backwards from the next elections. So fair play to Mark Drakeford and his colleagues. There will be, before the next elections, not able to be kicked into the long grass, an equality action plan for the people of Wales. So that also is very exciting as well, and has been amazing to connect with all of those people. So yeah,
very, very groundbreaking work as well. Because one of the wonderful things about and this is amazing, Muller, because you really answered my next question, which was going to be about the Our Connections with Africa series and how that came about. Because you led the workshops with two other Black creatives, Phil Okwedi and Eric Ngale Charles, who we saw in the video earlier, and we have a little video clip of Phil coming up as well. And it was a really unique opportunity to work with the three artists and work in different mediums as well, because Phil is a storyteller, Eric a poet, and you yourself, well, we said song, but it's actually an array of different mediums, really. And it was, I think, a very moving experience for all involved. I loved your quote from the workshops about the diamonds. Were there any other highlights for you from the workshop series?
It was just amazing because, again, I'd said this thing about Connections to Africa, and I'd made films with Kanchi and with Gus and Julia about their connections, and I'm still going to hassle the guy from Glandy Cross who came up to me and said, oh, I went to Ghana. It was amazing, just because of the t-shirt that I happened to be wearing at the time. So there are more films in that project, and there are more connections, and there are connections in ways that I hadn't known. But anyway, I work at Coleg Plastic, sorry about my phone. I was working at Coleg Plastubal, and I was working with my students, and we did a big display about adornment, and we were making Asafo flags. And one of the peoples that we looked at, there was a member of the workshops who had been to meet these people and had got this doll that she'd had for like 40 years and was exactly the kind of, it was an adornment that involves putting clay in your hair and feathers, and the warriors kind of all dress up. So there were for me, it was a massive journey, not just in my part of my own personal journey and to work with Phil and with Eric, but also to connect with these other people who had amazing connections that I had never realized that they would have, to work with Aesop's fables and to know that Aesop was a Black man, which I had never known before, to find an Aesop's fable that resonated with me so amazingly. And then to work in association with Tenby Museum and to look at the debate around Sir Thomas Picton and what he got up to, like, for example, torturing 14-year-old girls. And yet we've got a local school named after him that 14-year-old girls go to. So yeah, it was really fascinating. I liked the fact that it was very open. It was a journey. We set off on the journey and we didn't entirely know where we were going. And that's what I love about SPAN particularly. And I must say a massive thank you to Catherine, because anytime I come up with a harebrained idea, Catherine is always there. I said, look, I want to get together singers aged 0 to 100, and I want to do this thing. And she you know, she's fantastic.
As we saw earlier, because it was, yeah, of course, Muller appeared in the clip earlier for those of you that were watching of Raise Your Voice as well, and that just gives a little taster of the eclectic mix of work that Muller does, both
Can
or
I
both
just
with
also
Span and
say
independently?
as well,
Of course.
massive thank you to the Belvedere House and to Pencoed nursing homes, and a lovely RIP to Muriel, who was our 100-year-old and who sadly died back in April. So, oh, and I also have to just say, in June, the June picture on the Span calendar, there's a certain artist that took to the stage at some point. Yeah, so that's been my great stocking filler for all of my family. They've all got Span calendars across the world.
Marvelous stuff. Well, jumping back to our connections, we have a little clip to share with everybody now of Phil telling one of an Aesop's fable, and perhaps Muller, would you be happy to introduce him?
I would indeed. This is a fabulous local storyteller, Phil Okwedi, who also happens to be half Nigerian, as I am. And yeah, he was an amazing connection that I didn't know was local to me, and now owns a lovely shirt that was part of my family, which was my gift to him. But this was Phil's gift to the workshop, a way into Aesop's fables.
Hello, Croeso. An Aesop's fable. Once upon a time, there was an old man who had a farm on the banks of the Niger River in West Africa. Now, this old man knew that his time to join the ancestors was rapidly approaching. And so naturally enough, he wanted to pass on the farm, his life's work, to his 6 grown-up children. But that's where the problem lay. You see, although he taught them well, so some of them were good at farming the land, others at tending the animals, still others at cooking and preserving whatever the farm produced, his grown-up children were always arguing, always quarrelling. Mostly, it seemed, about whose job was the most important. And the old man knew for certain that after he was gone, if they carried on arguing like this, the farm would be broken up, his life's work lost. And so he worried and he worried and he worried. And then he thought and he thought and he thought, and he came up with a plan. He asked each of his children to go down to the woods by the river's bank and collect 2 sticks and bring them back to him. And when all 6 were standing around his bed with 2 sticks, he asked them to put one of them down, take the other stick, put their hands either end of it, and snap that stick in half. And all around his bed, snap, 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 snap. Very good, he said. Now give me the other sticks you've collected. And so he took in all the other sticks, and he put them in a bundle, and then he tied a string around the bundle. And when that was done, he passed that bundle to his eldest child, and he said, now, see if you can break that bundle. And his eldest child took the bundle. He was a big, strapping lad. He took that bundle and he tried to snap it over his knee, but he couldn't. So he struggled and he strained and he sweated, but he couldn't break it. And his next child took it, a daughter. She put it on the floor. She began to jump up and down on it, but she couldn't break it either. Each in turn took that bundle, and they struggled and they sweated. None could break it. When all had tried, the father took it back. And he said, you see, my children, you are like the sticks in this bundle. If you argue, if you go your separate ways, then you are like the single stick, and life can easily break you. But if you stick together, if you celebrate each other's strengths, take joy in each other's company, then there is nothing in life that you can't achieve. Well, a few weeks later, the old man did pass over, went to join the ancestors. But his children never forgot his wise words, never forgot that they should remain a bundle of sticks. And so the farm stayed in that family for many more generations. Now, why did I choose that story? I chose that story because it resonated with me. Many years ago, I went to visit my father in Nigeria for the first time. It was the first time I was meeting him. And this was naturally a big event. So as part of it, we were going back to the ancestral village. And to get there, the last 6 or 7 miles, the road isn't a tar road. It's actually sand, quite deep sand. And there were hundreds and hundreds of cars on this road on this particular evening as we were going back to the village. And suddenly we came to a place on the road where the sand was very deep and all the cars got stuck. And so some men started getting out of the cars and I started pushing them through. And after a few minutes, I went and joined them. And we pushed cars for perhaps the next hour as it grew darker and darker. And I didn't introduce myself to any of these men. I didn't know their names. Hardly a word passed between us. We just pushed the cars. But afterwards, when I got to the village, though everybody was incredibly welcoming to me, there was something about having worked with people from the village that made me feel instantly at home. And so that's why that story resonated with me, and that's why I've told it to you. And now I'd like to invite you to find an Aesop's fable that resonates with you. And using the other materials that are available here, draw a story map and practice telling it. You may find Aesop's fables just by Googling. You should be able to find them quite easily. I hope you enjoyed the experience. Thank you.
A huge thank you to Phil there for the wonderful story, The Bundle of Sticks, and Aesop's Fable, and also to Molera and Eric and Gale Charles, the other leaders of our connections with Africa, and to Molera as well for speaking with us this evening. We just saw as well the fantastic ladies of Black Voices who did a gig for us at the end of October, and it was a wonderful online gig and a chance for us to experience music online. Now, in November, we had another exciting month as Theatr Sofa was back at it again. Oedden ni ymlaen eto yn gweithio ar ddarn theatr arall. We were back again working on another piece of theatre. We developed a performance of Liz Lockhead's Dracula, and I have a member of the cast of Dracula with me now. John Roach is here with us this evening, and he, of course, played the vicious Count Dracula. Hello, John.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
So what brought you, John, to taking part in Theatr Sofa?
Well, first of all, during lockdown, we were looking for things to do, and I've been involved with drama for a long, long time. In fact, it was one of the subjects I studied at college when I went in for teaching, and looking for an avenue to act. And we saw the advert for SpanArts putting on Undermilk Wood. So my wife Jenny and myself agreed to do it straight away, looking forward to it. Dylan Thomas is very close to my heart. I love his poetry and his short stories, and Undermilk Wood was actually filmed in my home village in 1971 in Lower Fishguard. So
so you had a connection with the piece.
We had a connection,
well. Yeah.
Yes. And when I was in college in Northampton, the Northampton Repertory Theatre asked me if I'd help them with accents, with Welsh accents, so to put on the performance on the stage.
So you were able to bring then your expertise.
Well, experience, I wouldn't call it expertise, but experience of Undermilk Wood. So we really enjoyed that. And then as soon as we saw Dracula was also going to be put on Zoom, we thought, yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
We'll give it a try. And I remember one of the things you said as well about you were saying about how you met lots of new people. How was it working with people that you'd never met before online?
It was good. It was good. It was very good. I like meeting new people anyway. So albeit through Zoom, but it was quite a good experience, and seeing how different people approached their parts and approached working on Zoom. It was quite interesting.
And there were a lot of difficult things to work out with Dracula as well, in terms of because it was being essentially translated from a stage production to something online. How was that?
Well, the visual part of it was must have been very demanding for you as a director. So I take my hat off, to how you actually got over it and managed to make it a success. It was,
we did have a very good team, of course, with Derry Morgan as director, and Jake Whitaker, an excellent creative technologist who was able to put his vision onto both Undermilk Wood and Dan Owenallt and Dracula as well. So we were really very lucky. So how was it playing the villain in a
lovely? I love playing villains. They are
more fun.
They are more exciting than anything, because even any protagonist, however good they turn out at the end, has got to have flaws, otherwise they're not interesting. So appearance is quite important. If you can change your appearance, I mean, obviously I used a wig and the teeth stuck in, so that's a big help. But one of the things I found whenever you play a villain is not to use your own voice, develop another accent, because that really takes you out of yourself then and takes you into the characterization of somebody else, which I think is important, because if you can not be yourself in any way whatsoever, appearance or sound, then it's a big help to getting inside another character.
A wonderful top tip there. Well, we have a couple of clips of Dracula to show now. I wonder, John, would you be happy to introduce them?
Oh gosh. Right. Which clips have you got?
It's just a snapshot, I suppose, a Kipling, if you like, of Dracula. Perhaps that might be a good way to introduce it.
Oh, there we are then. Right. So we're going to have a few clips of the marvelous production of Dracula, and that fantastic Bram Stoker novel, adapted for play, for stage and Zoom. So here we go.
Count Dracula?
At last! I am Dracula. Welcome. Enter of your own will. Come freely. Go freely. I'll leave something of the pleasure you bring behind.
Mr. Renfield, it's me, Nisbet, with something for you. Don't you fancy a little something?
Let me carry you to your bed.
I can walk, Arthur. You let me take my time. Give me an arm to lean on.
Nonsense. You're light as a feather.
Who are you?
But the moon's my constant mistress, and the lovely owl my master. He's coming! Master!
Listen, tomorrow we begin to fight him.
No! Van Helsing, better find your sea legs. Get ready.
I'm gonna miss you more than anyone before, 'cause you're the first to know me. You reached into my core like it was plaster, but it's gonna heal slowly. You were in the room with me, always to the nth degree, always. Shame that the room never came to us. Only dipped my toes in you, painting walls the same shade of blue. Building a home that we'd never come home to you, those miles between, 'cause coming home to phone is me. It's a wonder I didn't fall, and I'm gonna miss you more than anyone before, 'cause you're the first to know me. You reached into my core like it was plaster, but it's gonna heal slowly. No one else got to know me. Saw you again and my brain fried. Felt the rubble creeping up for a landslide. Thought whatever we were was buried and gone, but hey, I was wrong. And I'm gonna miss you more than anyone before, 'cause you're the first to know me. You show me I could hold anything that life throws and smile in the morning. Thanks, SpanArts. Does dim modd treial reswm i di a gwyn. Dyna'r unig lliwe ti'n credu yn ganol nos. Meddyliau di bwynt y mewn y fy mhen, pwy sy'n talu'r pris. A mein bywydau hapus a llawn, canrifoedd, teuluoedd, rhyfeloedd, ac mae'r un gi yn cadw cyfar arna i. Ac mae'r un stori yn cael ei hael a drobodi. Hey! Paid dy gefn, mae'r amser di dod i ti dal dy dir, newyddion ffug. Paid anghofio'r gwahaniaeth rhwng y celwi a'r gwir, cenhedloedd, pweroedd, tyrfaoedd, ac mae'r un gi yn cadw cyfarth arna i. Ac mae'r un stori yn cael ei hael a drobodi. Ac mae'r un llywodreth yn addo i pethau newid. Gyda cyfamser mae pethau'n gweithiogi i ti a fi. Ti a fi. Ti a fi. Hey! Cwmnioedd, dinasoedd, ffatrioedd, gwerinoedd, amseroedd, blynyddoedd, rhyfeloedd, ac mae'r un gi yn cadw cyfar arna i. Ac mae'r un stori yn cael ei hael a drobodi. Ac mae'r un llywodraeth yn addo i pethau newid. tardi. At marine då vart träffarna då lekande ut. Gyfam ser ma beth gweithgygu I ti a fi. Hey! Yeah, thank you. That song is so much fun to play.
A huge thank you to the cast of Dracula and to John for speaking with me earlier as well. And just after those clips, you also saw another of our live gigs. Laurie Evans and Lee Mason played for us back in mid-November, and they were supported by Natalie Holmes. The full gig is still available on our YouTube if you'd like to check it out, and it was wonderful to have them with us. Diolch yn fawr iawn iddyn nhw. I'd like to do a couple of shout outs as well to our loyal viewers. I can see you there in the comments, and it's wonderful to have you with us. Shout out to Amy, who was involved in one of our projects, the one we're about to speak about in a minute, in fact, to Di, Vicky and Catherine as well, members of the SPAN staff. Catherine Lambert is of course the director of SPAN and responsible for a lot of the wonderful work that you're seeing this evening, and the whole team as well. It's so good to have you with us, and so good to have you supporting such wonderful work. Now, I have with me the wonderful Kelvin Lewis, who is one of SPAN's long-standing volunteers. He has been involved in an array of different projects this year, and has been taking part in all sorts, from theatre sofa to building a lovely easel to help us display some of our posters as well. And it's fantastic to have so many dedicated and wonderful volunteers. Kelvin is here to speak to me a little bit about a project that we ran towards the end of November, and then was performed in December. Well, it really ran throughout November. Writing from Personal Experience. This was an original playwriting project which was made in collaboration with Kerry Ash and Pop Tea Productions, and Kerry led sessions with a group of it was a mixture of volunteers and professional actors, and together they shared experiences from the past year during lockdown and other experiences as well. And these were turned into two original theatre pieces, Lockdown Tales, Making Bread and Babies, and Chwedlar Cyfnod Clo, Bara a Babanod. And Kelvin was involved in this project with us. Kelvin, can you tell me a little bit about what brought you to the project, first of all?
Oh, having been involved in Undermilk Wood and Dracula, I was keen to carry on the experience, especially knowing that I'd be working with a professional group, which was something very new to me.
Something very different as well, and a unique opportunity, I suppose, to work with a mix of professionals and community participants as well. How was it sharing your stories with strangers that you had never met before? Because that must be quite nerve-wracking, surely.
Nerve-wracking, but the wonderful Kerry made things so simple. She had a series of exercises to help us to share, which she nursed and encouraged us through, and from that she came up with the script.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, so it was developed from what was actually said in sessions, and verbatim, word for word, in all through as well. How did it feel seeing your actual words in a script? That must have been quite an interesting feeling as well.
Scary. It was such a fantastic group that it just felt so easy and natural. It was a good process.
I thought it was hugely brave as well of you and the cast to not only share your stories and your words, but also to perform those words then in a live online theatre piece. How was the performance for you? How did you find it, and how was the experience working alongside the professional actors as well?
The performance when we got to it was reasonably easy because we'd worked so hard to get there to sound natural. Kerry brought on the lovely Amy from the United States, who's a professional film and TV director, and her attention to detail and knowledge of the whole script was absolutely mind-blowing.
And did you find yourself learning a lot of things that perhaps you had never done before, and having to adapt in different ways?
Yeah, but as I say, with the help and support, it was made to feel so natural that it just flowed. It was brilliant, lovely process.
And a very unique opportunity, I suppose, to share a little bit of the year, and to how does the old saying go, put things to rights almost, just by sharing and talking about it. Really wonderful stuff, and a huge thank you, of course, to Kerry and Amy. Amy is watching tonight, so hello. Good to have you with us. So we're going to share a couple of clips from both the English medium and Welsh medium productions, two brand new plays, Lockdown Tales, Making Bread and Babies, and Chwedlar Cyfnod Clor Bara a Babanod. Would you be so kind as to introduce them, Kelvin?
Most certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Making Bread and Babies and Bara a Babanod.
You're all going to start each sentence with I am, okay? So I am going to go first. See what I did there? And then we'll go, let's see, David, Gareth, Theon, Gwilym. Nia, can you give me a minute, please?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
I'm Bronwyn. I'm 33. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a theatre maker. I am bipolar. I'm an auntie. I love being an auntie. I am Welsh. I am Irish. I am Celtic.
I'm David. I'm a boy living in a man's body. I'm in my 30s. I'm rapidly running out of time in my 30s. I'm a partner. It's something precious, something I value. It's something I'm proud of achieving. Well, not achieving, of maintaining.
Okay, I'm Gareth. I am 66 years old. I am an electrician. I'm a plumber. I am sometimes an entertainer. I am father to 2 daughters. I have so much pride in my daughter's achievements.
Yeah, I'm Fionn. I'm 28. I'm hungry. I'm constantly hungry. I'm addicted to mashed potato. I'm an actress. I'm an artist. I'm a comedian. I'm a clown. And yeah, I'm exhausted.
Okay, I am Gwilym. I am 29. I'm a husband. I am a father. I'm a rugby player. I'm a fell runner. I have some sort of weird axe fetish. I'm obsessed with cryptozoology. I'm obsessed with mythology. I'm
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, all of you. Oh, Gareth, have you always lived in Pembrokeshire or West Wales?
No, I'm a Cardiff boy. Moved in the 80s up to Mid Wales with work. I worked for BT. Then I got made redundant in 2010. I was seeing a lady from Staines. We met on holiday. So what to do? I moved down to Staines, and that relationship went on for 8 years. And we parted, and I'm in Staines on my own. And I'm thinking, what am I missing? Brought up in Cardiff, loved watching Cardiff Blues or Cardiff RFC as it was then. So I started thinking, oh my giddy Aunt Mary, where do I want to be? Looked where I could afford to rent. And so on a whim, I got in the car and drove down to Saundersfoot.
Oh, I love Saundersfoot. Oh, I love it.
Dad was a mad keen fisherman, and we spent most of my childhood years, weekends in Pembrokeshire, and Saundersfoot was always the favourite.
Pan yn byw ma. A obviously wastad meddwl sy'n mynd mewn fel nôl i mae'n llochog, ond meddwl fel, oh my god, fel sy'n single, so mynd i cwrdd â neb. Anyway, fe di cwrdd â rhywun, a mae fe yn mynd i symud nôl gysio i fi mewn 2 wythnos.
Oh my god!
Yeah, achos mae'r cottage yn empty, right? So, yn mynd i gael COVID tests, isolato, a os mae popeth yn ffain, ni mynd i symud nôl.
Pwy yw e?
How di clywed am bit boyfriend? Wel, wni ddim moyn dweud yn byd, achos fel ni wedi bod yn virtually dato, a dwi'n gwybod bod chi'n meddwl fel virtual dating isn't dating, but it's the modern world, a fi'n really caru fe, fi'n really caru fi.
Wyt ti wedi cwrdd â fe?
Yeah, wel, wni wedi dato am fel 2 mis, a wedyn oedd e wedi dod, wel, o'n i wedi cwrdd yn haf, obviously now we're lockdown to ho. Anyway, I want you to meet him before bydd yn symud nôl. So mae fe'n y waiting room. Fi'n dod o fe mewn. I'm bringing him in now. Okay.
Okay.
Bydd yn neis, pawb.
Okay, of course. Ni wastad yn neis.
Hi guys.
Hi Freddie.
Hello.
Hi Freddie.
Hey. Nice to
Wow.
Nice to meet you.
So you're moving back?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't wait. It's just been a whirlwind, hasn't it, babes? And well, yeah, we've just had enough of the big smoke, and we just want some fresh air and countryside and live a simpler life. Yeah.
The right place.
Exactly.
So like,
we're simple. We're all simple.
Oh no, I didn't mean that.
Dwy.
So, o'n i wedi dweud wrth Freddie bod ni gyd yn canu pan... sorry Fred, it's so bizarre to not speak Welsh to my family, so I'm not saying anything bad, of course. So, o'n i wedi dweud wrth bod ni wastad yn canu pan ni'n gilydd fel family gatherings, obviously, os byddwn ni kitchen, a byddwn ni'n neud. So, o'n i wedi dweud, can we all sing him Canon Lan? Because I was teaching it to him, so, gallwn ni canu Canon Lan, Rods? Rods, come on, ti pitbre.
Ro nodyn i ni dyrod.
Go on, Rods.
Okay.
Rwy chael nawr.
Nid wy'n gofyn
bywyd mwy
gofyn oedd am
Okay, guys, that's enough. We're all out of time.
Well done. Gweithio ar hyn, ydw e.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I Ceri a holl cast a chryw chwedla'r cyfnod clo. A huge thank you to Ceri and the whole cast and crew of Lockdown Tales, and wonderful to have Kelvin with us there as well. Thank you very much, Kelvin. We have sadly come close to the end of the evening now, and thank you so much for loyally sticking by us. I hope you've enjoyed having a little look back at some of the exciting things that have been happening throughout the year, despite all of the extraordinary circumstances that surrounded us, and hopefully it has lifted your spirits as well. Earlier in the year, and indeed for a long time before that, we had a group called Cor Pawb, which would get together, made up of various different singing groups, and the idea was that people of all ages could come together and sing different songs, and they would be from all different ages and different backgrounds as well. Sadly, Cor Pawb was not able to continue singing in person following the lockdown, but thankfully they were able to join each other online and to work on a new virtual choir project, singing a well-known song for us. So our final video that we're going to leave you with this evening is Cor Pawb giving their rendition of Lean on Me, with lots of familiar faces there. Thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoy.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. Think I have things you need to borrow. For no one can feel those of your needs that you won't show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call me.
well. I'm going to give up in a minute.
Tonic for the afternoon. How not to?
I might need some gin with that.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I aelodau Cwr Pawb. Thank you so much to all the members of Cwr Pawb there singing us into Christmas. And as you can see, the snow is falling around me, even though I am at home, just like everybody else. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening. It has been really lovely to look back at the year with Span and indeed to share some of the wonderful things that have taken place with you as well. The only thing left to do is to say a few thank yous. First, I would like to thank our funders. All of you are the lifeblood of the work that we do. Amongst many funders, I would like to thank the Arts Council of Wales, Moondance, Pembrokeshire County Council, West Wales is Kind, and the National Lottery as well. I'd also like to thank the wonderful artists that have worked with us throughout the year, often having to learn new things in order to bring work to us in new mediums and working remotely and digitally during this difficult year. You are amazing and it has been great working with you. I would like to thank the SPAN staff, the core team, Vicky, Di and Catherine. It is a pleasure working with you, and you have helped bring all of this to life despite all of the odds, and it was lovely to have Siobhan with us earlier as well. I'd like to thank the volunteers for supporting us throughout this year and for helping many things to take place this year and for many years before that as well. Thank you for all that you do and all the different ways that you help us at SpanArts. And finally, I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. I hope it has been fun. I hope that you have enjoyed. Gobeithio eich bod chi wedi mwynhau. And the only thing left to say is that I hope you have find some joy this Christmas. Gobeithio y gewch chi Nadolig llawen. It has been lovely spending the evening with you. Nos da and good night.